All right, there we go. That's better. I got everybody there. I thought you thought for a second your volume was broken. It was. uh, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. Let me know in the chat how is the sound. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in tonight. Uh, what's the title of this video? For how crazy Pokemon investing is. Why does it feel eerily calm? Because it does. That's exactly what's going on. It feels just super, super eerily calm. And it feels eerily calm in the sense that we've already been here before. We've already experienced all this. It's kind of like, this is not our first rodeo. Fool us once, shame on you. Fool us twice, shame on us. But I don't feel like we're getting fooled twice again. It feels the same. I'm I'm very, very lucky that I'm in a position where I get to talk to people every day. I get to talk to people every day about the hobby, about what's going on. And I'll tell you what, the amount of people that are still excited over Pokemon day after day, week after week, month after month is pretty crazy. And I thought maybe buyer's fatigue would have kicked in by now. I feel like eventually people would say, nah, this is just starting to make so little bit of sense. Let me pull back a little bit. I'm seeing the opposite. I mean, we are going into, and I know I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but we are literally going into the strongest main expansion set ever to be released. And that is Destined Rivals. It is the most expensive set we have ever seen released, like right off the rip. I mean, some sets have gotten this expensive, but never at release. So we're just in a strong market. And I do want to clarify some stuff from last week's live. I did see some comments of people talking about my last week's live, and it's very interesting because I have found this out, and this is very true about the hobby. This is very true about life. People will only ever hear what they want to hear, and people will, like, I don't know, misinterpret your words or misconstrue your words. Where last week I talked about 4 sets that I'm buying. I said I'm actively, and this was last week, I said I'm actively buying Crown Zenith at a percentage of market, 151, Paldea Evolved, and anytime I could pick up Prismatic Evolutions at MSRP. I talked about those 4 sets. And then I also mentioned, like, some other sets too. But I saw some comments talking about my live from last week, and they were like, did you guys watch PK's live? He's talking about how he's picking up Scarlet and Violet booster boxes. I said, is that... I had to go back and, like, listen to what I said. It's like, is that just what people are hearing? Because I literally just said Crown Zenith, which is specialty set, doesn't have booster boxes. Scarlet and Violet, specialty set, doesn't have booster boxes. Paldea Evolved, that is a main expansion. SV2, it does have booster boxes. And then I mentioned Prismatic at MSRP, which again is a specialty set. And people took from what I said yesterday to PK is picking up modern or positions in modern booster boxes. And it's like, oh God, I didn't even know I was feeling people. I guess I'm feeling people. Let me go back and be very clear to you guys what I meant by that. Right now, my goal in this hobby, and where I've definitely changed, the PK from today is different than the PK from a year ago, and that PK is different than the PK from 5 years ago, the 10 years ago, and so on. Right now, where I am just building my positions, and maybe I wasn't clear enough last week, is where I want to be right now today is in the most liquid item that exists for Pokemon. That's where I want to be. Whatever is the most liquid, and whatever I could pick up the most volume and easy turning and burning. Right now, for me, while booster boxes are very liquid, they are not the most liquid item in the hobby. I'm going to show you this. Not this set particularly, but this product. Just 10 additional game cards. Loose packs. That is where I'm currently segueing a lot of my buys to. I want to be in whatever is the most liquid thing. This is the most liquid thing that exists currently in this hobby, and that is just kind of where I've been moving a lot of my positions to. A lot of the reason why too is also, when people ask me, they say, PK, well, what do you think is undervalued in the market right now? The most liquid thing is also the most undervalued thing in the hobby. This 10 additional game cards in this pack, when you look at pack prices versus the sealed product prices, the price disparity is just so crazy. I pulled up 2 sets. I literally just typed in 2 sets. I pulled up Fusion Strike, and I pulled up Astro Radiance because I mentioned Astro Radiance. I just want you to understand there's such a huge price disparity. This is undervalued. What you're looking on the screen, 10 additional game cards. This, in my opinion, is the most undervalued thing going on in the market. You could buy packs for $11 a piece. Then this is if you're paying 100% market. If you want to pick up a booster box, $800. So 11 times 36 is less than $400. It's $396 if you do 11 times 36. It is 50% the price of a booster box. I do not want to be here. I've already done my Fusion Strike acquire booster boxes. I acquired booster boxes a long, long time ago with Fusion Strike. I don't want to be here. I don't want to pay $800. I want to buy what I think is a more liquid. Packs are the most liquid item. I'm telling you, they're the most liquid item in the hobby that exists. And I can literally pick up 36 packs for less than half the price I could pick up the same booster box. Same thing. Astro Radiance, call it $6.25 a box or a pack. That's like $225 for 36 packs. If I want to buy a booster box, I'm going to pay around $400. So in this case, it's actually less than 50% the value. 36 packs, loose packs, is less than 50% the booster box price. Now, if you want to pick up positions and you want to invest, I think booster boxes is the way to go at the beginning. But this is not the most liquid item. This is actually, for me, when I look at this price versus I look at the single pack price, you know what I'm starting to turn into? I start to look at this stuff and I say, that just looks like a headache. That's just a headache to me right now. What happened to my, oh, look at that. I was wondering where my beautiful, beautiful face was. There's my beautiful face. This looks like a headache. Fusion Strike, moving Fusion Strike booster boxes look like a headache. I don't have anyone I could just pick up the phone and not just send a message to. I mean, literally pick up my phone and call them directly. I don't have anybody in my Rolodex. Is that still a thing? We're going to call it Rolodex. I don't have anybody in my Rolodex I could call for that. I don't have anybody in my Rolodex I can call and pick up this. But you better bet your ass I have phone numbers for people I could call and get rid of this. You better bet your ass I got phone numbers for people I could call and get rid of this. And that's just where I want to be today. Listen, what this channel is a lot of things. One, this is an old man yelling at clouds. Fuck those clouds. I hate clouds. Cumulus clouds. Fuck cumulus clouds. Stratus clouds. Fuck them. Skinny, crappy ones. Don't like any clouds. But I also am just going to tell you about where I am on my collectible Pokemon journey, whatever you want to call this. And that's just where I am today. It's going to be a constant ebb and flow, constant change. I'm just telling you right now, that is where I am today. But like I said, it's just interesting because I made that live yesterday, and the way people took it was PK is picking up Scarlet and Violet booster boxes, and I'm just like, man, maybe people want to hear what they want to hear. A lot's changed for me. The streaming has changed a lot. It's changed the way I look at a lot of stuff. It's changed the way I look at volume, which is moving stuff, the ease of selling stuff. Shout out to Mr. Dan, Catch More Collectibles. Dan talked about it a while back that Dan was moving from like person to person to business to business. And I have moved from that, believe it or not. my eBay accounts are all but dead. I have moved most of my business from business to business. The only difference is because I'm streaming so much. I think what people don't understand is the way I interact with streaming. Well, it might change a little bit in the future. The way that I act as a streamer, which a lot of people might not really understand, it is it is a lot different. It's if you look at the way that I stream, it would be much closer to acting as a consignment service opposed to it's a weird hybrid. The way I stream for Dan is, and shout out to Ponga, the way me and Ponga both stream for Dan is very, very different in the sense that we are businesses that facilitate the sales on a platform of other people's product. Most streamers don't work like that. Most streamers do either sell 100% of their product, or if they work for a business, they are usually going to that business, or there's multiple arms of that business where maybe they're one aspect of it. Maybe they're just the streamer, maybe they're just the packer, maybe they're just the customer service, maybe they're just, whatever role they act. Maybe they wear a couple hats, maybe they do a little bit of everything. But there's very few people, I believe, who run their business very similar to the way Dan does his and the way I do mine, where I am more business to business with Dan, where the way we stream, it's definitely more consignment-esque in the sense that I just sell Dan stuff. He does the sourcing. It's just the same way as if you were to grade a card and send it to Z&J. You source that card, you graded that card, and then you send a pile of cards to James to the Z&G and consignment service, and he sells the cards. If there's a return, he handles the returns. If the customers ask a question about that item, he handles that. He does all the listings for that item. When somebody purchases said item, he puts it in that bubble mailer, he ships it to them, he prints out the labels, he does everything. So it is more this could make a whole video. Maybe I don't really keep video ideas, but maybe I need to write down like how the business is structured, because it is different in that sense, because everything is done from my grandma's basement too, so I am the holder of all this inventory too. Like, the inventory starts with Dan, and then it starts, but it ends here. Does that make sense? And then a lot of this is he sources, and a lot of this stuff is just shipped directly to me. So it's not even like he buys packs. It's very similar to like if you were to buy cards on eBay that you wanted to have sold through when James was doing the Z&G Consignment Plus, if it's like you never even touched those cards, they were just shipped directly to him. So then James received your cards, put them in, penny sleeves, put them in card savers, shipped in the PSA, got that PSA returned back, then listed your cards. Then when somebody bought it, he shipped up those cards, shipped them out, and then he paid you out. It is a different type of business model. It's one that I'm almost sure it exists, but I don't believe it exists exactly the way that we do it. So that is just a way that and I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing. That is something that I'm struggling with today. If it's like to be good, to be 100% insulated where nothing is mine and 100% of it is Dan, but it's a relationship too, where maybe I'll do a whole video talking about relationships and how you're going to interact with stuff in the hobby. Like, it's also different because it's not a job per se, where I think maybe other people who stream or sell people's product, it is more a job in the sense that you don't care how things perform. Where what I do is I'm definitely tied into, I do care how things perform. Like, if I don't, like, Dan makes money, I make money, Paga makes money. We all make money. Everybody's happy. It's more of a different relationship where I'm definitely way more vested in the success of it. And this is with the more successful that is, the more successful I am, more tied into the long. I maybe it's even not just the success so much as the longevity. You know, more worried about the brand. It's an interesting relationship. It's one that I would have to probably have Dan on to talk more about because I don't know many people dealing with it in the same way as me and him do. Like I said, I do know, shout out to Nick Old School Pokemon. I know Thrifty TCG was just on Nick's live stream for his, shout out to Nick, 2 years. That's a long time. 2 year anniversary stream where she is going to be like one of his streamers or going to work for Nick. I think they talked about it during the stream, but it is going to be a little different in the sense that she couldn't do that out of the comfort of her own grandma's basement. Does that make sense? Like, it's not like Nick is shipping her. It's she had to go to Nick and probably either stream from, I'm gonna guess. I see that I don't know. That would be a thrifty question. Whether she's probably gonna just stream from Nick's house, and that's gonna be where the inventory is, and that's where most streamers, most big businesses, I think they interact more where it's like, if you want to stream for me, you come to me. This is where all the singles are. This is where the slabs are. This is the sealed product. This is where stuff starts, and this is where stuff ends. I don't know, like I said, if anybody... So it is... You can make the argument that it is a more consignment type, but I'm not going to get into, like, pay or anything like that. That's all private. But it is interesting how it's a but anyways, it goes back to what I'm saying. It's just like it's changed the way that I interact with the hobby. It's changed the way, like, the way that I look at certain things. The way I look at stuff now is I look at and I've talked about this on lives in the past where it's all got to be about volume, volume, volume. And I talked about this a little bit. Just somebody was asking me a business question on one of my lives, and I kind of mentioned, like, the higher you scale, the harder it is to just turn over your inventory. I don't know. What do I got? Give me I'll show you something. So this, and during my live, somebody asked this question. This is kind of something I talked about. This is a Babarrel from Crown Zenith. This is on a live. It's gonna actually, a card like this, it's gonna fluctuate. Maybe on all our auctions, they start at $1. So on a bad day, you're gonna get the minimum, $1. On a good day, depending on the right bidder, you're gonna get between $3 to $4. There's a big variance. But let's say you could source a lot of these Babarrels from Crown Zenith. Nothing crazy about this card. Like, if this card sells for $1 one day, or if it sells for $3 one day, it doesn't, the hobby doesn't stop. You don't get somebody doesn't make a YouTube video talking about, oh my god, PK sold a Babarrel yesterday for $1, and today that same Babarrel sold for $3. That doesn't break the hobby. But let's say you could source this card. It's probably pretty easy to pick this card up for $1, and if you spend enough time, you could probably find somebody very, very willing to buy this card for $2. If you went on all the different platforms, all the different selling platforms, reached out to a bunch of people, went on to all these different marketplaces, went to Collecticons in person, put a price tag, did all those things, you could double your money on this. And I don't think the barrier of entry, the level required to take this card, this Babarrel, and go from $1 to $2 and make 100%, it's not very hard. But now, when you get to doing that at scale, and you have to turn over your inventory, so when your inventory is $1, it's pretty easy to go from 1 to 2. When your inventory is 100, it's pretty easy to go from 1 to 200. When it's 1,000, it's a little harder to go from 1,000 to 2,000, until eventually, when your inventory gets big enough and you start to talk about, mid 5 figures, it's mid 5 figures, you're talking like 60 to 80,000 in inventory. It's a lot harder to go from 60 to 120 or 80 to 160. Or when you start to break that 3-figure and your inventory is $250,000, it's a lot harder to go from $250,000 to $500,000, where they're all Pokemon cards. I told you, I don't think it's hard to go from $1 to $2, but the bigger the numbers come, and it just comes to what are you selling, and it comes to volume, and it comes to ease, and you want to, I think when you get to a certain point, you just want to get to whatever is the easiest item for you to move, whatever takes the least effort. But now, when you get to those higher dollar amount, where I just told you can make 100%, it gets a lot harder to make 100% when you go from 250 to 500 or 500,000 to $1 million. So then you're willing to take lower percentages. But now, where I told you, I don't think it would be hard to go from $1, $2 on this card. I listed a lot of different options you would probably have to do. Your Facebook marketplaces, CollectorCon, in-person events, going on eBay, listing on TCG Player. There's probably a lot of avenues. That's a lot of work to make 100%. Where when you get to those big dollar amounts, I think you just change the way you look at it, and you're just like, you want to make the best profit margin you can, but literally with the least amount of work required. And I think as my business grows, I look at that more and more, and I think about that more and more. And it's like, I want to get to the point where I could get a consistent rollover on percentages. And that is just, and the hard part is when you get to that, where you start to take lower percentages, but you're still making more money. The only way you're going to get there is you need a big bankroll. And I know there's a lot of people that are newer to this hobby, so I'm going to go back to some of the very, very simple fundamentals. Pokemon is not a sprint. There are so many people that enter into Pokemon and they think it's a sprint. It's not. It's a marathon. Anybody could go and as soon as a marathon starts, I am the most out of shape person you're probably going to meet. I literally sit in this chair blasting farts into this all day long while I stream in the grandma's basement. I'm very sedimentary now. That's what you're seeing now. This is what I do for a living. I sit in this same chair. Even I, being out of shape for the Boston Marathon, I could full sprint as hard as I could and do 100 yards and just be completely gassed after 100 yards. And I could go full PK sprint, and I could be leading the Boston Marathon for about 9 to 10 seconds because I could go full ass sprint and I will be just gas. And that is what, a 27-mile event. And maybe even I could be in the lead for 9 to 10 seconds because I would do a full on my best, Usain Bolt impression. That would be me right off the rip. And then I would be gassed. And there's just so many people that I don't feel like they know that yet because they're just I think they're just re-entering the hobby. So they're still just feeling out the hobby and they don't really understand that. And one of the things about the hobby is it's the same way it says a marathon, it's just also a train going down the tracks. And it just doesn't stop. It just keeps chugging along. It keeps going ahead. And like the thing about marathons, there's always like the certain sprinters or certain runners, like come mile 20, they're far out in the lead. But then there's always this mob behind them. And it's a good name. It's a mob of people in the marathon. And you watch as those people at mile 20, 21, even though they're far ahead, you watch as that mob, it just slowly, the mob catches up with everybody and it just overtakes all these runners that are just kind of in the distance, but they can't keep up the pace. And that's a lot of the thing about this hobby too, is the mob just eventually gets there. So everybody who is sprinting, the mob that is just going at that good pace, eventually it just overtakes everybody. And that's a lot of this hobby right now. And I think the problem is with the way prices are exploding, you're seeing so many people. Really, I think we're coming into like that 20th mile where there's a bunch of stragglers that are kind of just out in the lead. But man, the mob is coming for a lot of these guys. And I feel like those are the people that not only does the mob eat them up, a lot of those people are so gassed they don't even finish the race. And I think that's a good analogy for what's kind of going on in this hobby is just you have people sprinting out so far ahead, and you know, it's really affecting the rest of the market too, because we're starting to see like wild price swings and everything. But that's why I could put up something like a booster box where you could have double or 50% of the price could be in the loose packs versus the booster boxes. And you know what? I'm fine with just being where, and you know what the thing about, let's go back to this stuff. And this is just two examples. You guys could give me any set. Every set is the same. You look at the loot, just do it on your own. Nobody will do it. Just type in battle styles. Type in, I don't know, few. No, this is, I said Dead Fusion Strike. Do Brilliant Stars. Do whatever. Any set. Just do whatever you want. Do Lost Origin. It's all the same. But I look at this. I say, when I look at these two prices, what's undervalued to me? Is it the loose packs, or is this crazy premium you're going to pay for the same 36 packs? There's 36 packs whether they're loose. There's 36 packs whether they're in this box. And do I think that if Astral Radiance doubles, goes from 403 to 806, do I think that an $800 box has a $6 pack in it? I don't. Here's an $800 box right here. An $800 box has an $11 pack. That's $13.50, $11.50. I'm fine with these gains. Percentages for me are fine. And you know what? It's going to be a lot easier for me to do. So when you look at the percentages from an $800 box to $11 pack, the percentages still aren't great. But you want to know what? If I have 1,000 of these packs, I would much rather try to move 1,000 of these packs than try to move 5 cases of this. And that's just where I am. And that's just today. I don't know where I'll be. And heck, sometimes I don't know from day to day where I'll be. But that's just where I am right now today. And all that might change. I think loose packs are king right now for me. That is where I want to be. That does not mean I'm not buying booster boxes. Hey, can we have a little random tangent real quick? Do you guys remember once upon a time ago when my first son was born? I said, this you go back real long time ago. Shout out to Pokemon Classics. When Pokemon Classics was on my channel, we talked about this. But when my son was born, he was born in June 2021. Well, the thing was I wanted to do was buy him one of every booster box from when he was born until he turns 18, and I've done that. I've bought him one of every booster box. You know what booster box came out in August of 2021? Evolved Skies. My son, who's about to turn 4, has one of every booster box, including, I showed Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike is a set that came after Evolving Skies. He's got an Evolving Skies booster box. He's got a Fusion Strike booster box. He's got a Brilliant Stars booster box. He's got a Lost Origin booster box. And my youngest son, who's only 2, I felt bad for him, so I also got him one booster box of every set going back to Evolving Skies. Luckily, he was lucky that his dad had extra booster boxes that I was able to give him one. But it was pretty funny because like the Evolving Skies booster boxes, I sourced those between 110 and 140. Whereas because my last purchase that I did was actually a case off of Pokemon Center. They're the last booster boxes I sourced, but I sourced my Evolving Skies booster boxes at 110 to 140. My Fusion Strike booster boxes, I sourced between 80 and 143. There was a wide range there because I did pick up a case off of Pokemon Center at the very end, but most of my Fusion Strikes were sourced between 80 to 140. I don't know what my average price is. I'd probably guess it's around the 105, 110 price. Either way, if I took that same $100 that I used to buy that Evolving Skies booster box and I put it into, say, a $529 college saving plan, which one do you think would have done better? The $100 in the $529 college savings plan, or the now $2,000 Evolving Skies booster box. It's just kind of crazy that I did that, as I thought it would be like a good thing. And this is, if you guys have been watching me, you know I've talked about this on multiple videos, including going back to when my son was born. I talked about this. And anybody watching the channel at the time, they could have done the same thing. It's such a simple concept. And a lot of the booster box, and I talked about, I said, for my kids, I'm not worried about price. I'm just gonna, whatever market price is at release, I'm not gonna try to find like whatever the lowest price is. Just whatever it is at release is what I'm gonna pay. I think I ended up paying, like, for Paldea Evolve, I think I paid like 110 at release for both my son's booster boxes, just because I wasn't sure what the market was going to do, and that ended up being pretty high, 110 for Paldea Evolved, because Paldea Evolved I could have waited on it, picked up at 90, but it doesn't matter. It was just for their booster boxes, whatever the market is at release. I got a case coming to Destin Rivals. I'm going to take out 3 booster boxes, one for each of my kids, one for myself, and just put those away. I always do that, like my one booster box. And it's just crazy when you think about it. I talk about this on Fanatics once in a while to people, because people know that I do it, and it's like the amount of money that just putting away one booster box. I mean, my kids are old. One's gonna be 4, one's gonna be 2. That is not; those are not old kids. And I look at their booster box collection, and I'm like, their booster box collection is not too shabby. Literally having one of every booster box, going from Evolving Skies to present. And yeah, is my youngest pretty lucky that I played catch up for him, because I kind of felt bad. And I felt bad because of Evolving Skies, because even 2 years ago, Evolving Skies had so much more value. But even in the 2 years since I gave him a Evolving Skies booster box today, just the appreciation in the last 2 years for Evolving Skies is crazy. And it's like, is this going to be like one of the best things I did? Just, I mean that. Am I going to look back when they're 18 and say, this is how much money each of them have in their 529s, you know? This is how much they have in Pokemon booster boxes. I wonder if in the future, which one is going to perform better, you know? And the money that the dollar, it's just, we are living in this weird timeline where up is down, down is up, right is left, left is right. I don't know. I struggle too with one of the things that's like tough about Pokemon is every single decision that I've ever made in this hobby has not been the best decision. Okay? But every decision I've made has kind of worked out in a weird way. Even so, what I mean, so you're gonna say, well, what does that mean? It's like, I'm not saying it might not have been, if you gave me $100, say you give me $100 today, and I take that $100, I could go out and buy something today. Maybe if we fast forward 5 years from now, they'd say, well, if we gave you that 500, if you bought this one product, this would have been the best returning investment. But as long as you buy something, and I feel like, because as long as in the last couple years, because I was still always buying something, even if I didn't take that $100 and buy the best possible returning investment at that exact moment that I spent that exact $100 bill, everything I bought has still performed good though, or still performed well. And I do get nervous, because I say, if every $100 bill you ever gave me, and I applied that money someplace in the last couple years, which I did. I never just took that $100 and put it in my pocket. I always applied it somewhere. And some very, very rare occasions, it was the best possible item. It's, I look at that and I'm like, if you could have done that with all products, how much of it is luck versus how much of it is skill? Versus how much, like, what is it? Is it just, is that all this hobby is? Is this hobby just luck? And what was the luck that was involved? It's just like, you were just lucky that you bought something. And it's like, well, what did I buy? It's like, it doesn't matter. You just could have bought anything. That's the tough thing about this hobby. This is probably the thing I struggle with the most when I kind of look at like the success that not just I have had, but other people have had. And it's like, is it well positioned, well timed, or is it just you bought something? And maybe that's it. But then it's like, what if you just buy stuff at the high? I don't know. It's weird. I'm so interactive with the hobby in the day to day. Um, that I feel like I always know the best place to put $100 that day. And I don't care at this point anymore. I never worry. I worry about certain products and like I'll converse, but in the moment now, when I'm actually deploying said capital, I'm just always confident in the purchase of that day. That's it. I think that's what the scary thing is. It's just like, while I don't know what Destined Rivals booster boxes are going to be in 3 years from now, and I feel like that's where a lot of people are worried, and I don't know what Surgeon Sparks is going to be in a year from now. I don't know what Surgeon Sparks, but when you give me $100 today, I'm not buying those sets right now today. But maybe in 2 years from now, maybe in 3 years from now, when you hand me that $100 bill, maybe those are the sets I'm buying. I told you last week, I told you again this today. Crown Zenith, 151, Paldea Evolved, and anytime I could pick up Prismatic at MSRP. Those are the 4 sets. So if you gave me $100 right now today, and you said buy one of them, I'm probably buying 151 at $9 a pack. That's it. Simple. Just like, and then you're like, that's it, PK, and I'm like, that's it. Just give me, yeah, that's it. Give me 10 packs. That's all. Whatever, 11 packs. Give me 11 packs of 151. That's what I'm buying today. And then I don't know what, and then I've already told you, I've already see the future coming. I know what I'm buying. And it might change, but where I see myself in end of June, early July is, and I might not, it might even be earlier than that. I mentioned it in the last live. I think I'm going to be making a play at Temporal Forces. I think I'm going to be making a play at Paradox Rift in a month, like a month or two. I feel like that's where my money is going to be just deployed then. But who knows? Like maybe that timeline pushes. Maybe it's going to be, maybe the timeline's going to be pushed out longer. Maybe the timeline's going to be shorter. Um, yeah, I think those are going to be the two after these, but who knows? Maybe I'm still just picking up Crown Zenith. Maybe I'm still just picking up 151 in a month or two. And maybe even though I think that I'm going to see Paradox and Temporal start to really give me good buying opportunities in the future, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll still just be buying Crown Zenith and 151, but that's the thing. The same way as the problem of just deploying money 3, 4, 5 years ago, even if it wasn't the right place, it's like, did you probably do okay? Yeah, because I just told you 3, 4 years ago when I was picking up one of every booster box for my son, that $100 was deployed into an Evolving Skies booster box. A couple months later, it was deployed into a Fusion Strike booster box. A couple months after that, it was deployed into a Brilliant Stars booster box. A few months after that, it was deployed into a Lost Origin booster box. A couple months after that, it was deployed in Last Radiance. A few months after that, it was deployed into Silver Tempest. And then after Silver Tempest, a few months later, I don't do the half sets. I wish I did do Crown Zenith and stuff. So I skipped the 12.5 set. And then a few months after I was doing the Silver Tempest, I was deploying their money into SV Base. And then a Paradox. And then Obsidian. Or see, how'd they evolve? Then Obsidian. And it's like, that's just where I'm deploying the money at that moment. And why does it feel that in the moment when I'm deploying the money, I just am not worried? Is that the biggest top signal? Like, you guys want a top signal. Like, is that it? But it's like, why, if that is the top signal, why has it been the top signal for years now? Why is when I'm deploying money, why is it becoming easier now? Is it because we are so rewarded time after time after time after time? And then it's like, what if this is the time that I don't get rewarded? It's like, who cares? That's why it goes to the title of this video. See how I do this? For how crazy this Pokemon investing is, why does it feel so eerily calm? I just told you, I said, if we're not successful, who cares? Once you get to the who cares if it doesn't work out, I feel like that's just the eerily calm. I think that's where I am. It's just eerily calm. It's just like, who cares at this point? Who cares if you make all these right decisions? Who cares if you finally get one wrong? Just who cares? I just don't care anymore. I'm so insulated from, I mean, if this hobby flips upside down, who cares? What's the worst case scenario? Where does my kids Evolving Skies booster box go from? What does it go from? Does it go from 2,000 to 500? I don't think so. So what is he up 500%? Who cares at this point? I think the hobby is but it's a crazy hobby. And when you're living in the day to day and you're watching the news cycles, and we got, what was the news cycle this week? Is Black Bolt and White Flame, is it underprinted? And the semantics of, oh my god, the semantics videos of everybody reads the same Poke Beach article and everybody takes a different. Well, I read it this way. 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 This did this. Oh my god, who cares? Who cares? It's just an eerily calm. Who cares? I don't care anymore. I think I'm just gonna go and be a part of the mob, and I'm just gonna be at a nice steady pace, and I'm just gonna keep overtaking people that sprint out ahead. And I'm gonna finish this fucking race. you know? And the crazy thing is just gonna keep running. I'm gonna do my best Forrest Gump impression. And I'm just gonna keep running. Who cares? I don't care anymore. Maybe eventually. Have you been watching this channel? People must be like, this fucker PK has been bullish on Pokemon for the last half decade. Do you think he's ever tired of just being overly bullish? And it's like, it's just I think it just becomes part of you. I don't know. All right. That was my PK rant. I ranted for about 43 minutes. I'm going to scroll up to the top of chat. Once I reach the bottom of chat, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to watch Naked and Afraid, The Last One Standing. There's a new season. I haven't watched the first episode yet. That's what I'm going to do. We got Dio's cards. We got number one mod in the game, Drew. Drew, good to see you. We got Miss Katie Lowen. And there's Felipe De Sosa. Felipe De Sosa. If you guys have any questions, now is your chance to ask them in the chat. So Kashmir says, same things with Bitcoin, hitting all-time highs, but no hype. It's just like, yeah. I got Son of Mewtwo, good to see you, big dog. So what up, PK? What up, chat? Number one mod in the game, Drew. Oh, let's see. Son of Mewtwo says it louder than the people in the back. So the Doubler says Pokemon Center took the money out from Destined Rivals today. I'm excited for my ETB. Very cool, man. I didn't even look to see. But yeah, that's gonna be cool. Destined Rivals is gonna be hype. Heat Flame Arena and Glory the Team Rocket being in the same set. You got an Ethan's Ho-Ho, and you got a Giovanni's Mewtwo. You got a Giovanni's Nidoking too. You got a lot of solid cards. You got a huge illustration rare subset too. Bunch of great SIRs. It's gonna be a good set. People are gonna want to open it, and it's going to be really, 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 really hard to get your hands on. And because it's going to be really hard to get your hands on, people are going to want it even more. First to market grades, same fucking thing that happens on every set. I don't even know what the first to market Giovanni's Mewtwo is going to be, but it's going to be a lot. And the person that gets that card is going to sell for a high price, and people are going to look at that price, and then everybody's going to race to want to open these packs and do. It's just like Surgeon Smarks Pikachu. Remember that? Remember, I literally brought the person on that sold. Do you remember that even? I brought the person on who sold the first ever Surgeon Smarks Pikachu, the first to market, because he got the same premium. That happens every single time. And then the high prices for singles are going to raise the price, and then people are going to want it even more, and it's just going to be a snowball effect. And then eventually Destined Rivals is going to get a restock, and then fucking distribution price is going to be super high, and everybody's going to want these Destined Rivals to drop down the MSRP. And well, you know what? You're going to be on this wave 2 and wave 3 and wave 4 and wave 1 million of fucking Destined Rivals. Distribution might get as low as what? For the initial release is going to be the cheapest anyone ever sees is booster boxes. So whatever you have, your $95, $99, $100 you're paying per box, that's it. You're never going to see that price again. So then it's like, what's the next restock? I don't think it's 120. I think you're going to be lucky if your next restocks from distribute, and I say restocks, I mean from distribution, you'll be lucky if it's like the 150 price range. And so then at that point, people are going to finally start to sell booster boxes for like 210 or 220. And then eventually later restocks are going to come, and the later restocks are going to be at like MSRP 165, and people are going to buy them from distribution then. And then by that time, booster boxes are going to creep back up to like 120, 130, and then the reprint's going to push it back down to like 205, 210, and it's going to be dark. It's going to be a dark, dark fucking time in the hobby. And the days of cheap booster boxes for now are far away. Pokemon says they're printing everything. I kind of don't believe it. I kind of do believe it. I feel like they are printing a lot. And then last Friday, I think it was Friday, the Prismatic SPCs, the Super Premium Collections, were released. And I watched as 20 people stood in front of every single GameStop in the country. 20 people. And I watched as some people were being interviewed and got there on Wednesday when they were being released on Friday. And I watched as Best Buys were turning people away, and I watched all these short clips, and it's just like, there's 20 people standing in line at a GameStop on a Friday morning for a $89 MSRP product. How much supply does it take of that SPC where you could just walk in to your local GameStop and it's just there? Meaning you don't wait in line. You're not worried about getting there when they open. You're not worried about getting there during your lunch break at work. It's just like, hey, today is Thursday. After work, I'm going to go to my GameStop and I'm going to go buy an SPC at MSRP because I just know it's going to be there. And I don't have to worry about anybody in front of me buying it. It's just, I know when I walk in my GameStop, it's going to be there and it's going to be at MSRP. And if GameStop is too far, I'm going to stop at my Walmart and I'm going to walk in my Walmart and it's guaranteed to be on the shelf because I know nobody's going to want it. How many fucking SPCs does it take for that scenario to happen where it's just like, today's Thursday. All right. I feel like I'm going to go do my shopping at Walmart. I'm going to pick up an SPC because I know for 100% certainty it's going to be on the shelf. What does it take? It takes a lot. It takes so much. I just told you 20 people would stand in line. And if there was only 19 available, you better bet your ass that one of the sneaker flipper dippers wearing Crocs with sandals, you gotta bet your ass. They're gonna be black socks, black Crocs, and always gonna have socks with Crocs. That's a good line. Socks with Crocs. Better bet your ass if he's number 20 in line, he's gonna want to fight somebody, and there's gonna be a rattle video, and there's gonna be some Instagram reel or whatever. Like, what does it take? It takes a lot. Do we get there? Maybe. When? I don't know. How much does it take? A lot. How much is a lot? Like a fucking lot. It takes a lot. And it's like, well, is that it? Does Pokemon not have to worry about anything else? It's like, Journey Together is a weak set, and it's a $200 plus booster box. Surgeon Sparks is a $200 plus booster box. These are not old sets. Destined Rivals is a fucking $250 booster box. This is a new set. It's like, what? You can't just, what do you, it's like you could tackle one, even if you could get SPCs low enough, which I don't know if you could. It's like, what happens with Destined Rivals at that moment? It just runs away? What happens with Surgeon Sparks? We just say, fuck it, Surgeon Sparks is too vintage at this point. We can't go back to Surgeon Sparks. Let's do Journey Together, or do people want Journey Together? We're like, what do you print? Which one is it? You print it all? Because that's not working. None of this shit's available. I wait on all these restocks I hear from all my friends with distribution access and fucking 15-year-old accounts and everything, and I say, how many cases of Surgeon did you get on the most recent reprint? And they go, 4. I said, what was your spend last year at distribution? They're like, $3 million. You spent $3 million at distribution and you got 4 cases? Yup. That's not good. Well, how much does it take? It just takes all of it. Well, I thought Pokemon has got the printers. They're printing. It's like, where is it? Where is it? I just told you there's 20 people standing in line at Walmart or at GameStop. It's like, where is it? Why did that GameStop only get 19 SBCs? Why didn't it get a make-believe amount where they're just like, oh yeah, no, we got fucking walls of this. Nobody wants this shit. They're like, SPC, what a garbage what a garbage product. Got this stupid Eevee promo, and it's got a bunch of packs of Prismatic. Nobody wants this. It just sits on our shelves, takes up space. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna slap a fucking clearance sticker on it. What does it take for a clearance sticker on a fucking Prismatic SPC? How much? What does it take? A lot. I mean, but that's it. We're talking about a set that's going to be printed for years. But it's like, what happens in the next 2 years? Like, what happens if another good set comes out? What happens? And this is the scary thing that everyone always talks about. What happens if a good set comes out? What happens if Pokemon says what I keep mentioning? They're just like, oh, hey, oh, shut up. There's another fucking Pokemon Pocket expansion. Another 20 amazing cards are in the new Pokemon Pocket expansion again. And it's like, what if they just say, okay, now it's the Pokemon Pocket time, and we're just going to print all these 100 bazillion most beautiful cards that exist in the hobby. We're just going to start putting these in the Pokemon Pocket expansion, and hopefully not the Pokemon Go expansion, which, you know, Pokemon Go was released in 2016. We got Pokemon Go for Sword and Shield in 2010, and they put a fucking Conquador Altart in there, and a Mew V standing over the city, even though they put a better Mew V in the 151 UPC. Like, maybe they don't make a 151 Pokemon Go trash product, and instead of a Pokemon Go trash product, they put a good Pokemon Pocket product out. It's like, what happens then? You got the best set. The next set's always the best set. So now you got the next set is obviously the best set because it's Pokemon Pocket. And then we go off of a Pokemon Pocket set into a 30th anniversary, and it's like, oh, thank God the 30th anniversary is coming. Finally, the crash is coming. And then what? The fucking Pokemon puts out like a Neo-Gen homage with Neo-Gen base, Discovery, Rev, Destiny, all 4 sets, composite, like the 30th anniversary set. And everybody's like, oh, thank God. Thank God we're just going to get another reprint of them. The OG Neo Destiny Moonbreon, that will crash it. Thank God we're getting a Lugia and T17 remake. Thank God that will crash it. Oh, and Pokemon's bringing back Shinies. Thank God the Shinies will crash it. Like, come on. We booming so hard. And it's like crazy that people are talking about the downturn happening in this market, And I'm watching as Destined Rivals is going to be $250 in like 2 weeks after release. It's going to be $250. Come on. Come on. It goes back to deploying money, and it's like the mob wants everything. The mob wants everything, even things that are not rare, things that are not scarce. They want it. You know what? Nobody likes vintage, but you know what? Everybody does like vintage. Don't let them fool you. Shout out, shameless plug. We're going to be doing a Team Rocket first, and by we, I mean OPK. I'm going to be live on Fanatics Live at 8:30 p.m. on Saturday night. Let me show you guys. What does it look like? Let me show you. It's something you don't get to do every day. Da-dun. Da-dun, dun, dun, dun. Look at that. OG first edition Team Rocket booster box. We get to open that bad boy up. I'm looking forward to that. Team Rocket first edition booster box going to be opened up live on Fanatics starting at 8:30 p.m. this Saturday night, which is May 24th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How lucky am I to open up a Team Rocket first edition booster box? In January, I got to open up a base set box. In March, I got to open up a Fossil first edition box. And this month, I get to open up a Team Rocket first edition. If you guys look in the description of this video, if you guys are not signed up, you get $25 referral link. Yeah, that is my shameless shill. Also, we're going to have high-end singles and slabs. So if you guys are looking for good deals, there's usually good deals to be had. Make sure you guys tune in for that. But yeah, like, you know what? People want vintage stuff. I show you this box. We didn't pick this box up too long ago. I think I forget what Dan paid for it. You could ask Dan. I'd say it was around 20 grand or something like that. That box is like 26, 27-ish. Since the time he bought it. It's gone up 6-7 grand. And what did we do? We just bought it. Why? To break it. But what? What happened? Well, time went on. Yeah, time went on. Because everything is just going up. Because you know what? People like old shit too. People don't like just new stuff. People like old stuff too. Everything just goes up. People want everything. People want vintage stuff. People want semi-vintage stuff. Last night, opened up a EX Legend Maker pack. Pulled a reverse hollow Mew. The reverse hollow Mew with the Legend Maker stamp on it. Most recent sales of that Mew, reverse hollow from Legend Maker, $3,200 in a PSA 10. Wow. That's a reverse hollow Mew from Legend Maker in a PSA 10. Super low pop, super tough card to grade, blah, blah, blah. Semantics. $3,200. Most recent sale. Do you want to know what the sales before that was? It was like $800. That card went from an $800 sale like a year ago to $3,200 on recent sales. And I also pulled from Gym Challenge on the same night. Pulled a Rockets Mewtwo Hollow from Gym Challenge First Edition. Living the best life I could live. Yeah, are they my cards? No. Do I care? No. Do I get to live vicariously to open up other people's packs? Yep. Is it worth it? Yep. Would I do it for free? Probably. I would open up vintage packs for free. The feeling of that is just freaking crazy, man. It's been so much fun. Yep, that's about it. All right. Let's see. What else will old chat say? So Roxy, oh, you overpaid. Roxy said I paid $319 for my Evolving Skies booster box at the time. I thought it was crazy. Yeah, that was you overpaid, Roxy. Let me get that box. I'll pay $400 for it. Easy, $100 on your money. Um, so Max says, what age are you going to allow your kids access to booster boxes? What if they decide to rip it at age 12? 18 was the age I did, because I feel like 18 is when they would go off to college. Maybe if I feel they're irresponsible, I'll hold on the boxes. And honestly, their boxes might be a down payment on a house. Their boxes are already getting close to like not maybe a full down payment, but a nice little chunk of a down payment, you know? Uh, let's see. Max Power says, I forgot I was watching live. What up, PK? Max Power, good to see ya. Let's see. So Max Power says, how much Destined Rivals are you looking to pick up currently? May slowly build positions. The problem is, Max, is I just haven't been able to find Destined Rivals cheap. That's my problem. So not a lot right now. I picked up a box. I picked up one box from PokemonCenter.com, and I picked up a case. So I got 7 boxes of Destined Rivals coming to me, but I don't feel like I'm going to hold a lot of the Destined Rivals. I have to take 3 of the boxes out. 1 for myself, 2 for my kids as their PCs. And like I said, I'm just doing whatever current market is. I'm not really super worried about it, because maybe I'll feel real dumb in 18 years. Well, 14 years for one and 16 years for the other that I took a Destined Rivals box closer to release, but it's just a rule I have. Uh, so High Choke says, first of all, you are 3 decades too old to be shopping in the sporting or kids trading card section. There you go. That is, I like that. That's a hot take. Hamburger says, I'm new to Pokemon from Sports Cards. Pokemon Co. is absolutely genius, but as soon as I see numbered parallels, I'm out. I have 1 box from Brilliant Stars to date. Main sets only. I hope they don't do numbered cards. They're already kind of testing it with like the Chinese Mew and stuff, but we'll see. So Joe said the speed at which everything gets snapped up the second it drops is crazy. If they dedicated everything to one set, I think they still can't meet demand, let alone if they spread it across. I don't know. I don't know what Pokemon's printing. You know what? I said that a year ago. I said that 3 years ago. I said that 5 years ago. I don't know what Pokemon's printing. May never know. Just doesn't feel like a lot. Let's see. So Boss says Pokemon TCG is about to crash. Laugh out loud. What's gonna crash? My kids Evolving Skies booster boxes that I put away with them. They're $2,000 a box, Boss. Like, what are they gonna crash to? I just told you I bought them at like 110 to 140. What are my kids Evolving? It's a 4-year-old product. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about an old product. That is a product that's been out for 4 years, and it's $2,000. Like, what is it gonna crash to? Yeah. Lose 25% of its value. Is going to be a $1,500 box, which makes it the most successful investment return ever. What is it going to lose? 50%? Goes to $1,000. Makes it the most successful. Only what, 10x? If it cuts in half, that box only 10x in 4 years. Like, we just talking stupid numbers. I mean, I'm looking at Fusion Strike right here. It's an $800 booster box on TCG Player. Like, what does it do? It loses 50% in value. It's a $400 booster box. And 4 years ago, it was $80. Went from an $80 and it cuts in half from the 800 is today. It's at 400. Like, is that the crash? What do I do at that point? Is that it? I gotta close up shop because my returns are only 400x instead of 800x. Like, what happens? I close up. I pack my bags. Boss says, I mean, people will say it's gonna crash are clueless, I think. I don't know. Yeah. Uh, Thrifty says, PK, it happened. I finally saw somebody on Facebook call Sword and Shield Sense vintage. And when I question it, they told me that I don't know what I'm talking about, Thrifty. I've been saying it for years. Sword and Shield is vintage. Surgeon Sparks is vintage. All right, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. As always, be safe. Do whatever it is you do. Once again, I will be doing a Team Rocket First Edition booster box break on this Saturday, May 24th. Even if you want to come in and troll me in chat, it's going to be cool. You don't get to open up a Team Rocket First Edition. So 5th set ever. You got base set, Jungle, Fossil, base set 2, and you got that bad boy right there, Mr. Team Rocket. And then you go into your gyms, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge. Do you think we'll see a Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge booster box in the near future? Maybe a little Neo Gen, Discovery, Revelations, Destiny, the Legendary Collection, Expedition Aquapolis, Skyrage. Are those all in our very, very near futures? I don't know. As always, appreciate each and every one of you guys. Be safe, and I'll catch you on the next stream.